This is a summary of Israeli war crimes committed in Palestine for the week ending 9 April 2008. Israeli occupation forces continue their systemic attacks against Palestinian civilians and property in occupied Palestine. Here's a brief summary. 8 Palestinians, including a child and a farmer, were killed by Israeli military in the Gaza Strip. 5 of the victims, including a child and his uncle, were killed in a series of attacks launched by the Israeli military against the east of the Gaza city in less than 5 hours. A Palestinian child was run down to death by an Israeli settler in the West Bank, and 25 Palestinians, including 5 children, were wounded by Israeli military gunfire in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military conducted 30 incursions into Palestinian communities in the West Bank and 7 in the Gaza Strip. Israeli occupation forces arrested 65 Palestinian civilians, including 7 children and a girl in the West Bank, and 10 others, including 3 children in the Gaza Strip. Israeli occupation forces razed an additional 125 dunams of agricultural land in this past week and damaged a number of civilian facilities in the northeast of Gaza City. The Israeli military raided a number of charities and NGOs in Ramallah and Al-Bira, and raided and searched a number of charities and mosques and shops in Kilkilia and closed 4 charities in the West Bank. The Israeli military have continued to impose a total siege in occupied Palestine, and the fuel crisis in the Gaza Strip has escalated to the point of complete darkness for the Palestinian civilians living in Gaza. 6 Palestinian civilians were arrested by Israeli military at checkpoints throughout the West Bank, and they have continued settler activities in the West Bank. Israeli settlers and the IOF have continued to attack Palestinian civilians and property throughout the West Bank. 2 Israeli settlers attacked a Palestinian family near Nablus. And in breaking news, Israel escalates war crimes inside the Gaza Strip. 9 Palestinians were killed, 6 of them civilians, including 2 children, in the last 24 hours. Israeli occupation forces escalated its war crimes in the Gaza Strip in the last 24 hours, disregarding the lives of civilians who are paying the price of its latest escalation. Last Friday, 9 Palestinians were killed in the Gaza Strip. 7 of the victims, including 6 civilians that included 2 children, were killed by the Israeli military's use of lethal force in El Bureij refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip. In addition, 27 people, most of these civilians that included 12 children, were injured. This escalation comes at a time of pending humanitarian crisis and at the start of a halt of life in the Gaza Strip due to the fuel cuts and ban on fuel supplies since last Monday. As a result, transportation has been virtually paralyzed, affecting all aspects of life, especially health and education. For more information on these gross human rights violations and war crimes, you can go to www.pchrgaza.org.